Good afternoon and welcome into Mary's Kitchen. Today I'm going to make you a great winter warmer, and I was just to my hairdresser the other day with Dana Wood, and we were discussing various recipes, and she told me about this one, beetroot and tomato soup. I just love the sound of it because you can eat it cold or hot. Hi Julie, thanks for coming on. You can eat, it's kind of like a borscht, I guess, a beetroot soup, but it has tomatoes in it, has onions in it, has a little bit of cumin in it as well. It's very, very easy to make. You can make it in practically 5 minutes, or if you buy fresh beets, you're going to have to prepare them first. And to prepare beets, it might be an idea to wear gloves, because when you're using fresh beets, a lot of the pink... Hi, Maureen, how are you? Good to see you. And Elaine, nice to see you girls. When you're dealing with beets, especially when they're fresh and you're top and tail them, the red juice can get onto your hands and can really make them pink. So it might be an idea. Hi, Teresa. We just saw each other. I got to show you those muffins I made. They turned out brilliantly. Anyway, your hands will turn pink. So the best thing is, if you want, wear gloves, but the pink comes off, so you don't need to worry. It comes off with soap and water. You can boil your beets, but it takes about an hour to boil them. Then drain them, obviously, and if you put them into a paper towel and move them around a little bit, the skin will come off. Okay, so that's your cooked beet. So that's what we're needing in this recipe. But I take one step easier, and I get mine from the supermarket, and they're vacuum packed, and they're already cooked, and they're already peeled. So I have mine all cut up here, ready, so it's really, really simple, really, really easy. And what I've done first is I've chopped a very, very large onion. All right, and I chopped that up in my little mini blender here, and I've got that, I put that on the oven, on the stove, sorry. As you can see, I've got it all here in the pan with a little bit of olive oil, and I put that on just ahead of time because that takes a little bit of time to get those onions going. The other thing that goes into this soup, obviously, is tomatoes as well. And both these vegetables are very high in antioxidants. Tomatoes are high in vitamin A and K, and both have potassium, and beets have magnesium. Sorry, I can't say that word. Hey, Lori and Becky, good to see you girls, and Laura. Good. Well, I've got my onions cooking, and I put 2 or 3 tablespoons. And Lynn, if you've come on, I'm using my wok. Anyways, I put 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil in there, and I've put my chopped up onion. I'm going to put 1 bunch of green spring onions in, green onions. So I've got my little dish here, my plastic dish for my rubbish. And I'm just going to cut these up, take the tails off them first. And get rid of them. And sometimes the skin on the outside is a bit brown, so you can just take those off where you see you need to. You could keep a little bit of this aside, because you could use it as a garnish as well on top of the soup when you're finished it. But this soup is so easy. If you had people unexpected coming in for lunch or something, you could make this as long as you got those beets. Buy those beets vacuum packed and keep them in your freezer. They keep for like ages. Hi Elizabeth, nice to see you. Elizabeth Renton. Nice to see you on here. Anyway, I'm just going to cut these up coarsely. And then I'm going to put them in with my onions. I'm going to keep this top green bit, because if you want to cut that really, really fine, you could use that as a garnish for your soup later on. And I'm just going to add those onions to there and just let them saute. That takes about 5 or 10 minutes. You don't want your onion going brown, so don't let it go brown. Hi there, Elizabeth. Hi, Lori and Becky. Good to see you. As you know, this is my favorite little kitchen gadget in the whole wide world. I just love this little thing. It does everything. I mean, you can puree your soups with the other part of it, okay, which goes on to the handheld blender here. and it chops everything. And I love this because it's a real huge time saver. So when you're making something like this and you want to be quick, it's easy to do. Now, if you want to even be quicker, I've got these vacuum packed beets here. You could also use 2 tins of tomatoes to save time, but I've got a huge amount of tomatoes here in the fridge and I want to use them up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get that nicely sauteed. It's doing very well. Just turn that cooker up a little bit. And I'll put the lid on because that helps to keep the heat in, helps to keep things cooking. I made some apple and carrot muffins earlier for my Keep Fit girls. So they're all excited waiting to see what they turned out like, and they did turn out really, really nice. I'm really happy with them. But this is a paleo soup. This is a clean eating soup. Okay, so there's no gluten in it. And what was I going to say to you? Oh, what I'm going to do next is to, it's easy to forget when you're my age, what you're supposed to be saying or even what you're supposed to be doing. Hi, Deborah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. The tomatoes, I'm just going to, you don't even have to take the little stem bit off. You know, take the green stem off, obviously, but I'm just going to put the whole tomato in here and chop these up in my little mini blender here while those are cooking and sweating. They're sweating. As you can see, the top of the pan is getting a lot of condensation on it, so that's a good sign. Let me just cut a couple more of these up. So we're going to probably put about 6 tomatoes in here, 6 or 7 tomatoes, and I got about a pound of beets there. I'm just going to chop these up just chunky. There we go. Perfect. And it doesn't really matter because we're going to puree the soup afterwards anyway. Hello there, Peter. Hi ho. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming on, watching me live. So the next thing I'm going to do here, I've sweated this all down. You can see there. I'm going to put a tablespoon of tomato puree in there. And that's just a good old squirt. Tomato puree or tomato paste, as the Americans call it. Hello, Selena. Oh, you're going to make the other ones, Teresa. They turned out great. I'm going to come on and show you in a little bit, those muffins. They turned out really good. So mix your tomato paste into your onions well. Give it a chance just to cook tomato paste. It's good to cook tomato paste for a minute or two. There, so I got nice red onions now with the tomato paste. There we go. I'm going to put my beets in, my lovely pink beets, high in antioxidants. Brilliant for you. This soup is going to be very pink. Very pink. And I'm going to put probably about 6 tomatoes in here. I'm going to cut up another couple. Let me just do that. So just remember, don't get a shock when you go to the bathroom and everything is pink. So I always tell people that. Somebody told me once they fed their baby some beetroot and got such a shock with the nappy that they rushed the baby to the hospital because they thought something was wrong with it. So, I mean, beets are very, very high in color. In fact, I almost think you could dye your hair with them. So, I'm going to put 6 tomatoes in here. And that's coming up very, very nicely. There we go. I try to make these recipes easy and fast for you because I know a lot of people don't have a lot of time. So, hi Amanda, good to see you. When are we going to go fell walking? I hope soon. I hope Maureen and I come down there and see you soon. As soon as Maureen lets me know when she's available. Hi Stephanie, because that would be a lot of fun. I know Maureen doesn't want to do the fell walking, but I'll come down another time and do that with you. Hey Evie, how are you? Making beetroot and tomato soup. Dead easy. really, really fast. So I've got my onions in here. I've got my spring onions in here. I've got my beetroot in here. Now, I'm going to put one other thing in here. Here's my... I bought some apple slices in the shop the other day. They were just like snacking apples. And beetroot and apple goes really, really well together. So that's about half an apple in there. I'm going to chop them up too. And I'm going to put them in. See how simple this soup is? So you just saute your onions and the beetroots. What I do is I buy them vacuum packed. You can buy them fresh if you want to go through the process of cooking, but it takes another hour on. Oh, Amanda, it's so windy here. I just had the dogs out. It's so, so windy. It's unbelievable. So, there you go. So we've got our mixture, we've got our tomatoes, we've got our beetroot and our onions all going on there. I'm going to add a teaspoon of cumin. And teaspoons are measured in my hand. Oh, that smells nice. And I've got 4 cups of vegetable stock. You can buy vegetable stock in the shops all made up, gluten-free. So if you are gluten intolerant, it's a good way to buy it. Or use faithful old Knorr's, which I love. Oh, Evie, you're going to have to get one of my mixers. Of course you are. I love it. I use it for everything. I've told you before, I said I have every kitchen gadget known to man. When I had my restaurant, I had everything. I've got flan dishes. There we go. Now what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to let it just boil a little bit. I'm going to bring it up to a boil. There. That's it. It's that simple. Evie, this little gadget here, I've got the Bake Magic mixes and everything. I've got all sorts of kitchen gadgets. And this one is by far the best. In fact, I think I'm going to buy another one because I'd like to have 2 on board. Hi, Patricia. How are you? So the other thing that this wonderful little gadget of mine does, it purees the soup. So we'll just wait for a second for that to boil because it doesn't take very long. It doesn't take very long for the tomatoes to go. Hey, Peter, how are you? Hope you enjoyed your trip to Benidorm. I bet that was fun. Anyway, nice to see you live on here. And hi. So as I say, this recipe is so easy. You can make it in just minutes, as you can see. But what we're waiting for now is just for it to come up to a boil a wee bit. Just cook the tomatoes a tiny bit. If you use tinned tomatoes, you could pulse it right away because it doesn't take long for the tinned tomatoes to soften up. Everyone is talking about it. Evie, I know. This is my best friend in the kitchen. I love it. It's just fantastic. It's the best piece of equipment that I own. And what you can do with it now, if you put the other part onto it, this is for pureeing your soups. That's just coming up to a boil. I need to keep this in the pan though, and I'm going to turn the speed down on it. And that's pureeing my soup. Don't pull it out of the pan when you're pureeing because you'll get it all over the place, including yourself. I've got to turn down on the low speed. I'm going to turn it up a wee bit now. I'm happy with that. I might give it another little pulse in a second, but I'm going to turn that down. Let's have a little taste. See what it tastes like. It's lovely, but it needs some pepper.